the Antarctic terrorist Jarle Andhøy. Tromsø, Oslo, Norway. The Dagbladet. Polar explorer and television celebrity Jarle Andhøy, 38, sits in the dock, the Nord-Troms District Court, accused of having carried out his third voyage south of the 60th parallel in Antarctica without permission from the Norwegian authorities. He is also accused of having sailed without insurance, so the provisions of the Antarctic Treaty requires. The expedition took place a year ago, where, among others, comedian Anne-Kat Herland, 43, and rock guitarist Peter Barley, 50, was on the journey. The voyage constitutes television program Berserk in Pioneer Waters, which premieres on TV Norge tonight. There's an advanced sentence. Andhøy believes the charges against him are baseless. He points out that the sailboat is registered in Russia and claims to have acquired permission from the Argentine authorities before the expedition started. He never sought permission in Norway because he believes an application by him will never be merited by the Norwegian authorities. He felt prejudged by the Polar Institute of Foreign Affairs. Ever since 2011, I have been treated as terrorist in Antarctica by the Foreign Ministry and the Norwegian Polar Institute. They've stolen equipment, withheld information, and tried to stop my expeditions, says Andhøy. He believes everything started 5 years ago when he went on an expedition aboard Antarctic yacht Berserk with a crew of 4. The aim was to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of Roald Amundsen's trip to the South Pole. The expedition ended dramatically when the sailboat disappeared during a storm in the Ross Sea. Andhøy was even on land, along with 18-year-old Samuel Massey at the time. Comrades Robert PCP, who is 34, Tom Gizel Bellica, 36, and South African Leonard J. Banks, 32, were never found. Andhøy was fined 25,000 kroners after the expedition. He endorsed this writ. In 2012, he returned to Antarctica to find out what had happened to his friends. Again, Andhøy was fined for having traveled to Antarctica without licenses and insurance. Foreign Affairs and the Norwegian Polar Institute have opposed and tried to stop me. They still do. The entire input on this matter was that I had permission to sail, something I had said, Andhøy said, adding, "It will be exciting to see where they are now. This is a tragedy for me and other relatives who have lost shipmates and sons in Antarctica. The essential question is if there was an accident that was just swept under the carpet." Foreign Ministry rejects accusations of the Arctic explorer. Andhøy's claims fall on absurdity. Beyond this, we do not want from the ministry's side to comment on an ongoing trial, says Pressevakt at UD Astrid Sail to Dagbladet, the newspaper. The head of section at the Norwegian Polar Institute, Birgit Njastad, testified in the criminal case against Andhøy. She told Dagbladet that she did not want to comment beyond what was said in court. The documents showing Andhøy alleged authorization of Argentine authorities for permission to conduct the voyage was sent over to the prosecutor late Tuesday night. The papers were written in Spanish. They were assessed whether grounds for the examination. The reason is Andhøy complained that the dismissal was a violation of protection zone determination, believed they died unnecessarily, and would like to shed further light on the circumstances of the accident. He believes, therefore, that these matters have not been resolved, and he believes that all parties will benefit from what exists, says the lawyer Nora Vardal to Dagbladet. 3 crew members, Robert and 32, Tom, 34, and Leonard, 36, Antarctica on the Bezelschmitter and Horseshoe Bay, McMurdo Sound, before the Berserker disappeared. Andhøy got a text from the crew that read, "Everything is good, atmosphere is good in Horseshoe Bay. Contact us." Expedition participant Manuel Hernandez has gone through these documents today. Prosecutors reject Andhøy's written permission. It is not issued by authorities who handle Antarctica regulations, say prosecutors Trude Kvanli in this procedure, risking jail time. Anne-Kat Herland was summoned as a witness in Nord-Troms District Court Wednesday. "I know that it was working to try to get a permit. I know that there was no Norwegian license, but I also know that Jarl would not have received any permit in Norway if he asked for it," says Herland. The prosecutor asked today about the 30-day suspended sentence and fined 45,000 kroners for Jarle Andhøy. "I do not wonder if I will be convicted. I am going to appeal all the way. I do not give up, says Andhøy. The verdict will be pronounced in about a week. So they're calling him a terrorist for going to the Antarctic. Jarle Andhøy was eventually acquitted. I think that this is only the correct one. I guess he's saying this is the only correct decision, or he agrees with it. Unusual attorney Lars' assessment of the events is not a police matter, says the ASBN or ABSN. The director of the shipping department confirms it received a case. It's unusual that police would be sending a case like this to us, also a special case. We previously decided to investigate this. Now we'll reconsider this information for us to choose. These accidents basically happen and we perform an investigation. We prioritize the safety on board vessels, particularly the HGV. We do not prioritize accidents of pleasure craft in the same way. Inset. The day before the Berserk disappeared, Andhøy got a text message from the crew which read, "There is a good atmosphere and all is well. We leave Horseshoe Bay. Contact us when you can. Want answers." Jarle Andhøy wants to know what exactly happened before the Berserk wrecked. Unanswered questions. It has emerged as a mystery for Andhøy. Now Andhøy wants answers. Troms and Finnmark, the public prosecutor, has forwarded the case to the Accident Investigation Board with instructions to assess whether there are grounds for further examinations. The reason that as Andhøy complained that a dismissal of violation of protection zone determination occurred when the Berserk went to Horseshoe Bay. Andhøy believes action was solely due to necessity. Its purpose of the complaint was to shed light on the circumstances prior to the accident. There are things in here in this matter that are still not resolved, and documentation that we still have not obtained, but that exists. All parties will benefit from that there are no secret issues prior to the event, says Andhøy's lawyer, or Nils Jorgen Vardal, told Dagbladet. Attorney Lars Faust's assessment meant that further investigation of the events is not a police matter, and that the cause, therefore, was sent to AIDN. Director Morten Kven in AIBN Shipping Department confirms that it has received the case. It is a bit unusual that the police are sending a case like this to us. It is also a special case. We have previously taken a decision not to investigate. We shall now consider this again, but there must be new information for us to choose to do it, says Kveim. Accidents of this type are basically not a priority of the Accident Investigation Board, the AIB. That we should prioritize the safety on board vessels, particularly HGV. We tend not to prioritize accidents with pleasure craft, says Kveim, which states that a full decision will be published in the next few weeks. On January 19th, it is planned to have a premiere of TV Norge's Berserk series. It was today the press viewing where the media got to see episode 1, half the episode 8 and episode 9. The last episode is an epilogue, and more documentary than the rest of the series. Here we see how the one before the crew parted in Antarctica took place, and it repeated calls about the risks of the mission. Several of the families wanted to stop the series. Today wrote VG that the mother of Tom Gizzle Bellica and parents of Charles Banks has chosen to summon TV Norge for the series. A temporary injunction was filed yesterday to stop the series, but hopefully their stance may be changed under certain conditions. There is the documentation for this. We believe, however, that we are on safe legal ground, says TV Norge boss Harald Strom Dagbladet.